Asato ma sadagamaya tamaso maham jyotirgamaya mrityormam amritam gamaya avir maedhi Rudra yate dakshinam mukhaham te namaham pahinityam. Om, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness unto light. Lead us from death to immortality. And reach us through and through ourselves, and evermore protect us from ignorance by thy sweet, compassionate face. So my subject this morning is Vedantism. And I take my title from a lecture by Swami Vedarupananda, given in India, 1897, in which he discusses in some detail the Vedanta philosophy and religion, and more generally, Vedantism, that is the worldview of the Upanishads. This Vedanta is the oldest, the most ancient spiritual tradition in the world. Historically, as it developed over thousands of years, there arose many schools of philosophy and sects of religion and dogmas. But amidst all this diversity, they all are derived from the same fundamental body of teachings in the Upanishads. And so this morning I would like to kind of step back, give us an overview of some of those core beliefs that all Vedantists share. So let's look at the fundamental source material, that is the scriptures. All Vedantists regard the Vedas and the Upanishads as the ultimate authority in scriptures. Swami Vivekananda once referred to those Upanishads as the Bible of Hinduism. Bible kind of suggests a word. See, but by the Vedas and the Upanishads, the no book is meant. Rather, it refers to that sum total, the sum total of all the great spiritual truths that have existed throughout eternity, throughout all time. This Vedic wisdom was never created. It was never composed or written down by, originally, it was not written by men. It was not inspired by God. Rather, the foundational mantras were discovered by saints and sages called rishis, who, after lives of great spiritual discipline, kind of tuned their mental radios, were able to tune into the infinite and directly perceive these transcendental, superconscious truths. And therefore, in Vedanta, there's no need for any belief, no need for any blind faith or any faith at all. Because if these teachings are not based, these teachings are like kind of like a natural science. Discovers the law of gravity. That law has always existed, always will exist. Doesn't matter if we have faith in it or we believe in it or not. Similarly it is with the teachings of the Vedas and of the Upanishads. They're age-old principles. So this philosophy is founded on principles, not on persons. Now, let's look a little bit into we begin at the creation, the cosmology, and the evolution of this world. That in the beginning, there was Brahman. There was the ultimate reality. And as a result of that causal stress, there were manifested the causal, the subtle world of subtle elements and of mind and thoughts, and that those subtle elements combined together to form the gross elements and produce plants and animals and human beings like ourselves. All of this from the beginning. It sounds like an ancient account of evolution, an early account of evolution, but this is not evolution. This is involution. Evolution doesn't begin until the age of man, the age of this material world, that is of the gross physical world. Thus begins another whole part of the cycle, which we would call evolution. So the teachings of the Vedic sages, we could say, is evolution. And just as, well, it makes sense, because as in the macrocosm, so in the microcosm. Just as we fall asleep at night, we go from the gross physical world into a subtle world of another dimension. And then deeper go into a state of dreamless sleep, of deep sleep, in which there's no mind, there's no subtle, there's no gross. And the next morning we wake from that deep sleep, go into a dream state. So like this, we cycle around. So this is the fundamental concept of Indian wisdom, of the wisdom of the East. Everything moves in cycles. There's an eternal, time is eternal. There's no creation. There's no beginning. Creation is called shrishti. That means projection. The unmanifest gradually becomes manifest. And then that which is manifest becomes unmanifested. The potential is actualized, and then it returns again in a great cycle to the potential. So, the universe began. In the beginning, there was Brahman, that is, there is the universal reality. From Brahman, from God, this universe arose. By God and by that ultimate reality, it is sustained. And into Brahman, it will return again. And then we may ask ourselves a more practical question, that is, if this world, in fact, evolved, or is just a manifestation of God. And that if in the beginning there's great harmony and balance and goodness and truth, then why is it that in this world of ours we see so much injustice? We see so much of pain and suffering. And the Vedanta philosophy gives us a very clear answer about the nature of this world and of the nature of suffering. All suffering is due to our own self-conscious, volitional actions. We can't blame God for what is happening. The God is like the chandeliers, the light in the auditorium. People come, people go. The light continues to remain. It's unaffected. It's our own karma. It's our own free will actions which have created our happiness and misery in life. There is no chance. There is no luck. There is no randomicity. This is a world, this is a cosmos. We live in a cosmos, not a chaos. And therefore things are governed by law. They're governed by our actions and our experiences in life are governed by a great moral law. That's the law of karma. This doctrine of karma is a fundamental teaching of the Upanishads. What's the idea of the law of karma? Well, the law of karma, just in short, is this that tells us that actions have consequences. That's the principle. And whenever we do an action, it has two effects. It's cause and effect, but the effect is twofold. One is direct, one effect is immediate and direct, and changes our character and our mind and soul. The other effect is indirect and delayed, and it goes out and around into the world and cycles around like a boomerang and returns to us in the form of happiness and misery and suffering and success and good and evil. All of the results of our own karma, our own free will, self-conscious, volitional actions. There's no one to blame. All that we are today is the result of what we have done in the past. All that we are tomorrow will be the result of what we do today. This is the doctrine of karma. Along with this doctrine, going hand in hand with the concept of karma, is that of reincarnation. That is, the law of karma tells us, whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. The law tells us that there is a law, there's a great law of justice that always prevails, a great law of balance. And yet we look around us and we see that doesn't seem to be the case. We see that oftentimes good things happen to bad people. Bad things happen to good people. People seem to get away with crimes and murders. And yet the law still remains. Because if we find that in a single life, that the fruits, whatsoever man soweth, that we do not reap the fruits of our action, then it must be that in the next life, we will reap those fruits. And so it is that we've lived for life after life. There's life before and there's life after life. And whatever we have finished, work out our karma in this life, that again we will die, go to maybe some heavenly world, and then return again to the earth to continue on our journey. Now we may ask, who is it that makes this karma? Who is the author of our karma? Who is it that reincarnates? And the answer is that it's just you yourself. You have a nature. You have a soul. It's your soul that reincarnates. Your soul is just your psyche. The Greeks called the psyche. That is to say, the subtle body, what Vedantins call your subtle body and the causal body together constitute your soul. And the soul transmits that is yourself, which continues on after death, for the death of the physical gross body. The soul journeys on, maybe to heaven or to hell, but then is again reborn on the earth to continue its karma and to continue trying to disentangle itself from the chains of the vicious cycles of karma which bind us and which condemn us to life after life in this world of samsara. This is a key concept of the wisdom of the East. So we're kind of going from one thing to another. We're trying to just get an overview. What are those things? What are those basic ideas that all Vedantists share? Certainly now we come to those two cardinal fundamental teachings, that of the Atman and of Brahman. The Atman, now we're kind of looking into the metaphysics of Vedanta. What is your true nature? What is ultimate reality? The Atman here is just yourself. And the idea is that we have a soul. The subject of our soul is ourself. What can we say about our true self, the Atman? Well, just imagine yourself, which is disengaged, disencumbered from everything in the world. Imagine you set the body aside, you set your thoughts aside, all your troubles, all your difficulties, all your hopes and dreams, everything that you know to be an object, you set aside. Bracket that. Do a little phenomenology, because what is yourself? Well, yourself is just what remains. That is just pure consciousness. So we say, well, we know pure conscious. Well, we are aware of our own conscious mind, our I consciousness. That's also consciousness. That's kind of consciousness which is limited. And the ego, if the ego is kind of limited consciousness, Then the Atman, that is the I, what we call the I, and then there is the I of the I. This is the Atman. That is our pure consciousness, divested of all upadhis, that is all superimpositions. We have so many different, we have Vedanta teaches, we have 5 different bodies, different phenomenological selves. They're all mixed up and we're all confused. So we have to discriminate between those different levels of superimposition. And when we do that, we come down to our true self. That is the Atman, that is our consciousness. Consciousness is, well, a natural metaphor for consciousness is light. You are a source of light. That is your soul, yourself. Your consciousness is a source of light. It's not an object, but it's that which is aware of all the objects. The word light in the Indo-European language comes from the root div, which means what we call divinity. What the Hindus called the devas, the shining ones. That is your true nature. That is our true nature today. Now we are aware of our consciousness localized in one space. But that same consciousness, we remove the limitations, becomes infinite and unbounded. And so it is another word for our self, that is our consciousness, is the spirit. The spirit is by definition that part of ourselves which is unlimited. That is, it's not physical. It's not bound by space and time. And it's not psychological or mental. But as we could say, well, it's spiritual. We call it the spirit. And that spirit, because it is unlimited, is infinite. Its true nature, it's infinite. And because it's infinite, it's called one, only, without a second. This is the technical terminology for reality. This is the fundamental reality that is your true nature. Now, corresponding with our self is another great discovery of the ancient times, and that is Brahman, that is God. There is a God, and this God is what is God? So we could say God in Vedanta is an impersonal, personal, universal being. God is transcendental, but God is immanent in the world. In his transcendental, impersonal aspect, he's called Satchidananda. That is pure consciousness and being with a capital B, consciousness and infinity. In his personal aspect, God has many different names and forms. God is the sum total, we could say, of all beings in the universe. We can visualize God, that is the God of Vedanta, is Brahman. We can visualize the God of Vedanta as a cosmic man. He's called the Sahasra Shirsha Purushaha. That means he's a person. He's a man. That is, he's in the form of a person. Only he has hundreds and thousands of heads, hundreds of thousands of arms and legs, different forms and shapes. In fact, all conscious is the sum total not only of all human souls, but of all animal souls and of all plant souls. And this is our highest conception that we can have of God. And it makes sense because whatever in the macrocosm is in the microcosm. Whatever is there is here. Yariveha, tadamutra, tadamutra, tadanviha. Whatever is here in this world is there. Whatever is here, there is here. That's principle. And just as we have a body that's composed of many different cells and organs, so there is a cosmic body composed of all of the bodies in the world. The sum total of all physical forms, and according to the Virat, the cosmic body. And just as we have a mind composed of many different thoughts and feelings and intentions, so also there is a cosmic mind, which is the sum total of all mentations. And just as we have a soul, so there is a cosmic soul. Our soul is called the Jivatma, the living Atman. That supreme soul is called the Paramatman, the supreme soul. You could call it God. So this is the nature of God, the soul, God, fundamental metaphysical principles of this philosophy and religion. So let's just go on. We're taking now to putting these thoughts big. These are big thoughts. These are like planks here in the platform of the universal religion. Here's another thought. And that is that God, that is the ultimate reality, the cosmic person, that God has many names and forms. And this is such a foundational teaching. It goes back to the earliest of the Vedas, the Rig Veda, where it says, Ekam Sat Vipra Bahudha Vadanti. That is, truth is one. Sages call it by many different names, all the different gods and goddesses that we know. All of our conceptions of divinity. Here are the making a strong claim that that the truth is one. And Sri Ramakrishna gives us a homely example where we can kind of grasp it. You know, in India, in the olden days, village people used to draw water from what they call like a tank. Maybe it was like a little big pond or lake. And we can imagine that maybe on the northern part of there's a ghat there on the northern part of that tank, where there is a Greek family, and the Greek ladies go down there, maybe with a clay pot, and collect from the lake. And on the west, maybe there's a Muslim family, and they go down to tank, maybe with a pitcher. It may be that on the south side there's an English family. They also go there. And they have a pot. And they collect from that lake the water. But it's the same water. Whether we call it aqua, or pani, or jol, or water, it's all the same. Similarly, all these different, whether we use a jug or a clay pot or pitcher, it's basically the same water, the same different shapes. So this is a mind-boggling idea that truth is one. People call it by different names. And this is the foundation for fundamental teaching of the wisdom of the East, which is on our own practical spiritual journey. It's called the doctrine of Ishta Deva. The doctrine of each one has their own Ishta Devata, that is their own chosen deity. And the idea being that what we ask, well, how can I invoke God? How can I pray to God and visualize him? How would I know which name is the right one? Well, depends on all the many factors that make you up as a person. But in the end, you'll find that there is one form that appears to you, that appeals to your mind, that appeals to your own mind and heart. And that form is, that's your special form of God. And it's that God that in that form, it's God that we worship God. And we pray to God with a one-pointed concentration, knowing always the background teaching, that there are many names, and that there are many forms, and that the truth is one, and that the sages call it by many names. So let's look at another fundamental teaching of the wisdom of the East and of the Vedanta philosophy in particular. And I say in particular, because in the Vedas and the Upanishads, we regard them as fundamental sources. Why? Because they are the most ancient, they're the most complete and the most undistorted collection of spiritual truths. So this is why we say that we can say the wisdom of the East, but we're saying here, that our focus here is on Vedantism. And some of these teachings, it's true. This is not our subject this morning, it's a universal religion. Some of these teachings find expression in all religions. But it's only in the Vedanta philosophy that we find a more complete, a more original, and a more undistorted discussion of these issues. So let's look here at another fundamental idea. And that is that there is an evolution in the conception of God. Everybody has their own idea of God, and they think it's one thing or the other. The claim here is that there is an evolution in the conception of God. We are men. We are thinking about what is God. So we have to think about it. Now, in the Upanishads, we find that there are different teachings. Some of those teachings are definitely sound to be dualistic. And they speak of God almost as an extra cosmic being, and ours as different from man and from the soul. Let's look here at the soul and God. What's the relation between the soul and God? Well, definitely there are verses that speak about the difference between the God is different from the individual soul. There are other verses in the Upanishads where it speaks of God and the soul as kind of like part and the whole. That God has not just created man, but that God has entered into everything, that God is in everything, God in everything. And so which one is it, we can say? Is God separate, or is God in everything? And there's a third whole category of teachings in which the individual soul and the supreme soul are spoken of as one, as identical. That is, as the substratum of the individual consciousness and the substratum of the universal consciousness are the same. That is, there is only one non-dual reality. Now, it sounds like these are different teachings, and that there may be cause for disagreement and disharmony, and but really, it's not necessary. It's not at all necessarily so. Because if we see in the evolution, there's an evolution of the conception of God. Think of ourselves. We're climbing a mountain. We begin there in the foothills. We have one world view, very clearly, things that we see, but by the time we're halfway up the mountain, we have a completely different conception of the world and of ourselves and of our relation to ourselves. And so it is once we get to the very peak of the mountain, we get to the summit, we have again another completely all-inclusive view. That is, we're moving here from lower truths to higher truth. It's not from falsehood to truth. It's not from, it's from the lower to the higher. And what do they mean by lower? Sometimes people don't like those words, lower and higher. But this is not like it's not like a power hierarchy. This is a hierarchy of a holarchy. That is, it's greater and greater generalizations, more and more inclusive. When we mean higher, we mean more inclusive, more embracing of everything. And so it is that this is from that there emerges a great vision here of harmony. As we progress, as we begin to evolve, the different conceptions arise, and that all of them are part of an emerging evolution of the conception of God, who is infinite. And so this is a beautiful vision here of harmony, of religious pluralism plus hierarchy equals harmony. Now let's look at another aspect here of this, we could say, of the harmony of religions. Because we've always heard sectarian religions, when they say truth is one, sages call it by many names. What they're saying there is that we can invoke God by many different names and in different forms, that we can describe him in different forms, and that we can approach God in different venues. Now, those of us raised in Judeo-Christian tradition, we know sectarian religions teach that there is only one. Each religion teaches that there is only one traditional approach to God. Here, the teaching of the Vedanta philosophy is that there are many different ways to approach reality. And one way to look at those, look at those many different ways, is to understand that people have different temperaments. Some people are intellectual, feeling types, intuitive types, active types, and aligned with those Jungian character types are what in Vedanta, or in the yoga tradition is called yoga. That means there are different paths. There are different yogas. Yoga just means a way to realize God. And so we can look at all the religions of the world, and we can see that, they're not as different as they seem, that they're all seem to be part of these different practices, of different yoga practices. And so here we can see that there is and the teaching of Vedanta, of course, is that which yoga should we practice? Well, our ideal is as if we are to be, if our ideal is harmonious development, that we want to practice all the yogas, little by little, according to our own temperament. How do we know which is right for us? Well, it's the same with the name and conception of God. We need to do self-analysis and introspection, consult with our spiritual teacher and our own karmic history to know who we are, so that we can know what is our path, that we have our own path. Everyone has their own path, and that there are many paths to realize the truth. So these are some of the ideas of the core beliefs of Vedantism. Let me conclude with another. And that is a great, amazing idea that comes to us from the wisdom of the East, that comes to us from the Vedanta philosophy. And that is that there is a goal of life. That is, that there is a goal, not after life, but in this very life, there is something to be achieved and to be attained. And what is that? Well, the teaching is, what is that? All of the yogas agree, all of the different teachings of schools of philosophy, that is moksha. Moksha, Sanskrit word, very good, helpful word for us. But moksha just means literally freedom. But freedom is, of course, that's a beautiful American word, freedom. But the thing is, moksha is just spiritual freedom. So it enables us kind of to be discriminating in our vocabulary. We're interested in freedom, but we're interested in spiritual freedom. That's the goal. Jesus says in the Bible, ye shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free. So that's our life goal, is freedom, spiritual freedom. What does that mean? That means freedom from spiritual ignorance, freedom from confusion of mind, from false beliefs, from desires, from mental turmoil, from attachment, from all of those things which bind us to this world of samsara, freedom from the bondage of karma in life after life, freedom from samsara. This is our life goal that is to be achieved in this life while we're living. No other religion teaches this. Well, maybe you could say, what about Buddhism? Buddhism teaches, yeah. But they wouldn't call it moksha, maybe. Well, whatever. So visualize, we can just conclude, visualize. I like the analogy of the mountain. Just to visualize a mountain. On the top of that mountain, there is the immortal city of Brahman. And on that mountain, everyone in the world, and not just people, but animals and plants, all souls, all jivas, are climbing that mountain. There's not two mountains. Everyone is engaged in the same, but as we look there at billions and billions of souls, we find everyone is at a different place. They're at a different altitude. They have a different life path. We look back in history, and all those paths are crisscrossing. But in general, the trend is that all are seeking for freedom, are seeking for liberation, for moksha. And that they do good. If you're doing good, then you move up the mountain. If you do wrong, you do bad, then you move down. And so like it is, all beings in the world are wending their way towards the same goal. And this is the part of the vision of the Vedanta philosophy, or more generally, the Vedantism, the worldview of the Upanishads.
Thank you, Swami, for that wonderful summary of Vedantism. So we are now beginning the Durga Puja season, and so we are going to give you a 20-minute break. So come in, let's make it right at 10 after 12, and we will have Chandi chanting, and then Suman Lahaf and his singers will be producing a musical program after that as well. And then you are all invited for prasad after that. So 3 wonderful things to stay here for. So take a short break and be back here at about 10 after 12. Thank you. Oh, yes, I better do that now. Next Sunday, we have Swami Vedarupananda, who's afraid of God with form, and we have Durga Puja in Santa Barbara the day before. It's a beautiful site, so if you've never been to Santa Barbara, it's a nice opportunity to go. And then we're starting our Durga group chanting, so if you've signed up online or in the bookshop, you can begin to do your extra japam during this 10-day period. And then on Tuesday, the 30th, we'll be chanting Jai Shri Durga here in the temple from 5:42 to 6:30. That's the Sandhi Puja event. So those are all special events during this time. Thanks.
Ham Shantihi, Prithivi Shantihi, Apa Shantihi, Oshadaya Shantihi, Vanaspataya Shantihi, Vishwe Deva Shantihi, Brahma Shantihi, Sarvam Shantihi, Shantireva Shantihi, Same Shantiredhi, Om Shantihi, Shantihi, Shantihi. Om, peace is in heaven, peace is on the earth. Peace is in the sky and the waters. The herbs and plants and trees are full of peace. The gods are peaceful. May this eternal universal peace enter our souls and beings. Om, peace, peace, peace be unto us all.
by a group of devotees of our Vedanta society. These devotees were trained by Swami Vedarupananda. He taught them the singing of this hymn. So they performed it on 1st September when we had Labor Day. Again, they are going to perform. So I welcome them. And after this, we have the musical performance by Suman Laha and his students. Thank you. Please come.
Chandi Brahmakrita Devi Stutihi Tvam Swaha Tvam Swadha Tvam Hi Vashatkara Swaratmika Sudha Tvam Akshare Nitye Tridha Matratmika Stita Ardhamatra Stita Nitya Yanucharya Visheshataha Tvameva Sa Tvam Savitri Tvandeva Janani Para Tvayetadharyate Vishwan Tvayetad Srijate Jagat Tvayetad Palyate Devi Tvamashante Cha Sarvada Vishrishto Shrishti Rupa Tvam Sthiti Rupa Cha Parane Tatha Samriti Rupante Jagatosya Jaganmaye Mahavidya Mahamaya Mahamedha Mahasmriti Mahamoha Cha Bhavati Mahadevi Mahasuri Prakriti Cha Sarvasya Gunatraya Vibhavini Kalaratrir Maharatrir Moharatrischa Daruna Tvam Shri Swamishwari Tvam Hris Tvam Buddhir Bodhalakshana Lajja Pushtis Tatha Tushtis Tvam Shanti Shantireva Cha Khargini Shulini Ghora Gadini Chakrini Tatha Shankini Chapini Bana Bhushundi Parigayuda Somya Somya Tarashesha Somye Vyasvati Sundari Para Paranam Parama Tvameva Parameshwari Yacha Kinchit Kvachit Vastu Sadasadva Kiladmike Tasya Sarvasya Ya Shakti Satvam Kim Stuyase Maya Yaya Tvaya Jagat Shrashta Jagat Padati Yo Jagat Sopi Nidra Vashanitaha Kas Tastvam Sotumiheshwarah Vishnu Sharira Grahanam Ahamishana Evacha Karitaste Yato Tastvam Kastotum Shaktiman Bhavet Satvamitham Prabhavaisvair Udarair Devi Samstuta Mohayaito Duradarsho Asuro Madhukaitavo Prabodhancha Jagat Swami Niyatam Achyuto Lagu Bodhasya Kriyatamasya Hantumeto Mahasuro Bodhasya Kriyatamasya Hantumeto Mahasuro.
Hymns from the Chandi, Brahma's hymn. Brahma said, "You are Swaha and Shraddha, the mantras of consecration to the gods and the ancestors. At your bidding they are uttered, and they are your very embodiment. You are the nectar of immortality, O imperishable, eternal one. Truly you abide as the transcendent being, yet in every moment you abide, inseparable and inexpressible, as the eternal source of all becoming. Indeed, you are that. You are Savitri, the source of all purity and protection. You are the supreme mother of the gods.
By you is this universe supported. Of you is this world born. By you is it protected, O Devi, and you always consume it at the end. You are the creative force at the world's birth and its sustenance for as long as it endures. So even at the end of this world, you appear as its dissolution, you who encompass it all. You are the great knowledge and the great illusion, the great intelligence, the great memory and the great delusion, the great Devi and the great Asuri.
You are primordial matter, differentiating into the three qualities of everything. You are the dark night of periodic dissolution, the great night of final dissolution, and the terrifying night of delusion. You are radiant splendor. You reign supreme, yet are unassuming. You are the light of understanding. Modesty are you, and prosperity, contentment, tranquility, and forbearance. Armed with sword and spear, and with club and discus, waging war with conch, bow, and arrows, sling and iron mace, you inspire dread. Yet you are pleasing, more pleasing than all else that is pleasing, and exceedingly beautiful, transcending both highest and lowest. You are indeed the supreme sovereign.
Whatever exists, true or untrue, and wherever it may be, O soul of everything, you are the power of all that. How can I praise you? By you, even he who creates, protects, and devours the world is subdued with sleep. Who here can praise you? You have caused even Vishnu, Shiva, and me to assume our embodied forms. Who then can truly praise you? Thus extolled, O Devi, may you with your exalted powers confound those unassailable asuras, Madhu and Kaitava. Let Vishnu, the Lord of the world, be quickly awakened from his slumber and be roused to slay the two great asuras.
So today is the sacred occasion of Mahalaya. On this special day, we have invoked the blessings of the Divine Mother through this beautiful hymn from Chandi. I thank the devotees for presenting it. And now I request Suman Laha and his friends to please come over and do the performance. It may take a few minutes for them to set it up. I request all of you to please remain seated. Thank you.
Adi. Adi to? Adi. Aravruta.
Namaskar. We all are very feel blessed to be here. So our pranam and thanks to Chandi and all the monks and nuns here and all of you. Thank you. We are presenting a small presentation on Rag Bashan Mukhari. Thank you. tell each of your name from the side.
নমস্কার, আমি সোমদত্তা মুখার্জি।
নমস্কার, পৌলমী চ্যাটার্জি।
নমস্কার, শ্রীরূপা গাঙ্গুলি।
নমস্কার, যশস্বী সপুনি। নমস্কার, শ্রেয়া মুখার্জি।
What is your name?
নমস্কার, ঈশান প্রভু।
নমস্কার, আমি সুমন লাহা।
জ্যোতি প্রকাশ।
নমস্কার, শেখর ভট্টাচার্য।
শ্রেয়া।
নমস্কার, তুহিন কনা।
মনীষা সিং।
ইভান।
পার্থ।
Dax.
So we thank Suman Laha and his musical team. It was a wonderful presentation. We were really transported to a different realm. So on this Mahalaya special occasion, we were fortunate to have them here and present this piece. Wonderful. Thank you, Suman. Thank you. We look forward to hearing you again and again here. So now the puja is going on. So after the puja, there will be the offering, food offering, and following the food offering, prasad will be served. So we expect the lunch to be served at 1:30. 1:30. So I request all of you once again to have prasad before you leave. Thank you. Shall we have Jai Maharaj now? We'll Jai chant. Jai Shri Guru Maharaj Ji ki Jai. Jai Mahamai ki Jai. Jai Swami Ji Maharaj Ji ki Jai. Jai Raja Maharaj Ji ki Jai. Jai Swami Akhandananda Maharaj Ji ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Durga Mai ki Jai.